Hey, Andrew Comrie Picard coming at you at the BF Goodrich Terrain Takeover event for the KM3. And look, I've had a great week here. We've been beating up on some tires, but I feel exceptionally lucky because next to me is Miki Biasion, two-time World Rally Champion.
Yeah.
17 WRC wins.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Factory driver for Lancia.
20 lost.
For fourth. Yeah, well, you have to lose some if you're going to win some. So for me, this is exceptionally special because, as you know, I'm a rally driver, but I'm not a rally driver like Miki. So I want to just ask you a few questions about rallying in your career.
Well, when I was born, I started to be competitive. I've been competing all my life. Before skiing, and here is a very nice place. Then motocross, but my goal was to drive a rally car. Where I was born, there were not circuits, so the only situation to see motorsport was following rallies. That's why I started competing in rallies. I fell in love with rally sport, and where I was born, there was another Italian, very important Italian pilot, Sandro Munari, that has been the most important Italian rally driver before me, of course. Well, I'm joking. And that's why I started to drive in rallies. Okay. First in a local championship, but I've been very lucky because I won immediately the Italian championship. That Opel bring me in the factory team.
What year was that?
In 79.
79.
Yeah, when I started.
Yeah.
And then in 80 I won the Italian championship again. That's for 2 years. Then Lancia called me in the team, and I started to drive with a factory Lancia car.
So, but back up. What was your first rally, your first car? How did you have the first experience?
Well, I started in 78 in a very small championship, but it was illegal. And the organizer was my co-driver.
That helped.
And it was with a small Renault.
Okay. Renault 5?
A Renault 5, yeah. But then in 79 I started to compete with a Opel Kadett GTE, 2 liters.
Great car.
And I won the Italian championship.
So in your second year, you won the Italian championship.
Yes, immediately.
So rookies don't hang around. Second year, won the championship. Okay.
Then
so Lancia.
Then I went to Ford factory team for a couple of years, and in '83 Lancia gave me the opportunity to drive in the European Championship with the 037, and I won it immediately.
European Championship in the Lancia 037 in '83.
'83, yes. 13 rallies, 11 victories, so quite good. Then in '84 I started to compete in the World Rally Championship. Of course, our car, the Lancia, was not very competitive because it was only a two-wheel drive.
Rear-wheel drive, and the Quattro was already there.
And there was a Quattro and Peugeot.
Peugeot, yeah.
But the first event was Monte Carlo. I finished sixth. Then I went to Corsica and I finished second.
Tarmac.
Acropolis third. So it was a very good start for me to be a professional in the World Rally Championship. Then finally in '86 we got the Lancia Delta S4.
Turbocharged and supercharged.
Yeah, 560 horsepower, so quite good car, 900 kilos. And then that's why I won my first event of the World Rally Championship in Argentina.
Right. A rough rally, tough rally.
Yeah, and then I finished second in Acropolis. I won San Remo, but after I gave my points to a teammate, Mark Wallen, for the World Rally Driver Championship. And in '87, I've been leading from the first rally to the last rally, the championship. But a week before the last event, it was in UK.
RAC.
I had an accident going in the forest looking for mushrooms.
Really?
Yes, I break 4 ribs.
Right.
and it was not possible for me to start in the event. Jörg Kankkunen won his first rally in that season,
Really?
and he won the championship for 1 point.
Because he'd been just behind you. Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, but it's motorsport.
Yeah.
But after in '88 and '89, I became world champion
Right.
with Lancia Delta, and then till '91, I've been always in the top 4 or 5 in the final classification of the championship.
So you were very successful. You drove Group B cars, but you were very successful in the early days of Group A also.
Yeah, I did all the development of the Lancia Delta from the first test to the last one, and it was quite, how to say, difficult to change from a Group B car,
Yeah.
600 horsepower, to the first Group A 250.
That first rally was Monte Carlo
It
in a
was
Group A
quite
car.
frustrating, but
Yeah.
of course in motorsport, change the rules, change the car, change the tires and everything. But the winner is always the best. So, okay. Many people used to say that okay, in '86 you go to the Group A, and then you will have a lot of more competitors, much more rally drivers competitive with small cars. But at the end of the season,
Same people.
the name were the same.
Yeah.
Allen, Kankkunen, Biasion, Vatanen, Mikkola, Vaderor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just taking the same talents and applying them in a slightly different way.
Yeah, of course. The feeling that has a, how to say, professional or a top driver is to adapt his driving style to the rules, to the car, to the power, to the tires. This is the main difference.
Yep, completely agree. So then from there, you developed and you won the World Rally Championship in '88 and '89.
Yes.
Yeah. And then went on, continued racing until '95 or so, right? With
Yeah,
Ford.
in '92 I went to Ford Motorsport.
Yep.
The factory team was in Boream in UK.
Yeah.
And we start with the, I don't know the American name, it was in Europe was the Sierra.
Yeah, we had Sierra also. We didn't have many of them, but yeah.
And then with the
Escort Cosworth.
Cosworth.
Yeah.
And the project was very good, but the team was not yet ready to be competitive in the World Rally Championship.
Okay.
Then I lost the championship for 2 points in '94 with the Escort Cosworth.
Yeah.
And then in '85 I did a few events with Subaru, but only not with a factory car, so it was not very good season. So I decided to stop and to start in rally raids.
Yes. So tell me about that, rally raids.
Before with the truck, with the Iveco truck.
Yep. Big truck, 9-ton trucks.
And in '98 and '99 I won the World Cup for trucks in the two-terrain World Rally Championship.
The big trucks you see on the Dakar.
Yeah. Then in 2003, I went to Mitsubishi Rally Raid team.
With the Pajero.
Before with Pajero, then with the Proto.
Okay, right.
And I finished second in Dakar 2003. After 1 month, they take me out the points, but it was a political history. It's too bored to speak about this.
Happens in motorsports.
It's very boring.
Yep.
And I did my last competition with the Iveco truck 4 years ago, in 2014, with the Tinderoy and Iveco with 1100 horsepower. Quite good.
1,100 horsepower, 9-ton truck.
Yeah, in the sun was very fast.
You were showing me some pictures, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, over this whole career and all you've done in rally and rally raid and your motorsports career, what are the big moments for you that you remember most? What was your favorite car of all?
Well, of course, for a Russian driver, the favorite car is the most powerful. So my favorite car was the Lancia Group B with 600 horsepower.
The S4, the Integrale S4.
I mean, with the Delta Integrale won the mostly of my rallies and the championships.
With the Group A car, the Group A
The Group
Delta
A,
Integrale.
it's a daughter for me. It's called the Delta.
Yeah.
But the event that I used to remember with more enthusiasm, more fun is the Safari Rally in Kenya.
The Safari.
Safari was more or less 3,000 miles
Yeah.
race in the Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania,
Yeah.
Somalia, with only 3 stops of 5 hours. Without special stage, it was always flat out,
Yeah.
open road,
Animals, other
animals,
cars.
cars, trains, everything. And the Italian team of Lancia and Fiat used to try for 19 years to win that event. And I was responsible of the development of the car. So I spent a few months in Kenya.
That's a very strong car, a different car.
Yeah, very different car, heavier but stronger, slower.
Yeah.
And we won that event for 2 times consecutively.
I was lucky to get to know Colin McRae a little bit, and he said that was his favorite event also.
Yeah.
The hardest, the ultimate.
Well, it was a very dangerous rally, but really fantastic because you drive in the nature with wonderful places, day and night with 50 degrees
Yeah.
and -5 because you go to the
Yeah.
Kilimanjaro in the snow. So
Now,
I have a wonderful souvenir about that event.
which cars did you take there? Did the Group A Delta
I won
Integrale?
with 8 valves
Right.
Integrale.
Right. And
In 89 we have already the 16 valves,
yeah.
but it was not ready for that event. So
Right.
the engine was not enough, how to say,
Reliable? Or?
reliable.
Yeah.
So we decided to have the 8 valves.
Right. So over this whole career, and you've won the World Rally Championship twice. Can you look back and see what it was about rally in particular that drew you? You didn't, I mean, circuit racing, or you've done Dakar and so on, but why rally?
I think that rally, you usually drive in the normal roads close to the traffic, but I love rallies because, especially in the past, we used to stay very close with the spectators, with
Right.
the rally fans. We have service for the cars in the petrol station, in the parking of private houses, and all the spectators can arrive there to have an autograph, to have a picture together. We were very friendly with people.
Yeah.
Now rally cars are very fast, are wonderful, but they are quite, how to say, far from the normal people.
Right.
Removed.
Removed.
They are more like Formula One drivers, or
Right.
with box, with only television and.
A little more professionalized.
Yeah, much more professional. For example, in the 80s, at the start of a special stage, people knocking the door, in the window, give me the last autograph before to start the photo, and like now they are like movie stars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, and now you recently had the chance also to drive a modern WRC car. You drove one of the Toyotas, right?
Yeah, I don't.
How have cars changed since you were driving them?
Well, I think that, as I told you before, the winner is always the best driver.
Sure.
But today, rallies are much more quicker, shorter. Normally, we have in the past 10 hours of chronometer stages.
Yeah.
Now it's 2.5, 3 hours. So in the past we used to do a tactic.
Right, strategy.
Strategy, yeah. Now if you have a problem, you are out of the business. If you have a puncture, you lose the last event of the World Legend. 7
Seconds.
no seconds, part of second.
Oh, 7/10.
7/10 of
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
between the first and the second after 4 days of competition.
That's crazy.
It's
very-
very, very close.
How have the cars
And the cars
Yeah.
are really, really fast, but not easier to drive, but much more comfortable. The most important development has done in the suspension trouble, with tires, in the braking effort, in the aerodynamic.
Yes.
So they can go as fast as they can and jumping everywhere, and the car is always on the wheels. In the past we used to land and for 1 kilometer me and the driver jump in the car. I hope it's finished. Now they land after 50 meters of fly, and they like in the easy chair in front of the television, and they go.
Another shift.
Yeah,
yeah.
shift, yeah.
Okay, two more quick questions. One, is there a moment or a time in rallying that you remember as being so perfect, one of your strongest memories of the whole career?
Well, when I came to the Lancia team, the general manager, Cesare Fiorio, said, okay, I tried to have another Italian driver after many other drivers, because normally Italian drivers were very fast in the tarmac, in asphalt. But where I live between the sea and the mountains in the north of Italy, so I used to train a lot on the snow.
Right.
And so I was very prepared to compete in the snow and gravel against the Nordic drivers from Finland, Sweden.
Yep.
And immediately I was so fast in gravel.
Because it's more related to the snow.
Okay, now finally we have an Italian driver, very good. Because in the past, also now, 70% of the events in the World Rally Championship are in snow and gravel, not asphalt.
Snow and gravel, right.
That's why the Italian drivers were not very competitive, but I said one day I will be World Rally Champions and I want to train in the snow. That's why I had the opportunity.
Smart.
But with a very small car, it does not matter. But
Front wheel drive.
if you don't have BF good tire or a good grip tire, if you don't have that one, you learn, you have a good feeling. Well, you don't have a good grip, you go slower, but you understand how to fill the car with your shoulders. And it was my goal, and that's why I became the only Italian World Rally champion.
One more question. If you had to give advice to young rally drivers, especially in North America, but anywhere, about how to differentiate themselves, how to become better.
You must have something inside, a good feeling in driving, and then passion. Passion is the most important. Now in Italy we don't have very important rally drivers, very famous, because they want everything immediately. You have to work a lot. You have to know very well the car, to work in your car, to prepare, to spend the night working in the workshop. Don't rent the car, or if you rent the car, check the car from the start to the end.
Know how to fix it when you break it.
You must fix, and it helped me also in the Dakar rallies.
Right.
I did 10 Paris-Dakar.
So you know a little about that too.
I'm able to change the drive shaft, to repair the gearbox. You must love the car, and then you will become a champion.
Miki, what a fantastic interview. Thanks very much. Miki Biasion, people.
Thank you very much.
BF Scooters, KM3, Terrain Takeover, but for me, one of my heroes.
Thank you.